The 2023 transfer window is officially open and Arsenal are making moves. With Edu Gaspar keen on early business, Mikel Arteta wants to strengthen the attack. So today we have a massive update on Arsenal's new potential forward signings. We'll also get the latest from David Ornstein and Declan Rice, discuss Arsenal's potential attacking midfield targets, and find out how the Arsenal owners plan to win the Premier League title. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Babs14, welcome back to your boys channel. Hope you guys are doing sensational. And with the transfer window officially open, Transfers FC is going to heat up. So as per, smash a like on the video if you enjoy, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and help your boy on his road to 200,000 subscribers. But starting off with Arsenal's attacking midfield options. This transfer window for Arsenal is arguably our most important in many years. Arsenal will need to learn from other teams' mistakes. You look at Liverpool in 2013-14 and Tottenham in 16-17, both very promising young teams that fought for a title that weren't quite good enough, but they were never able to go again, and that is because their failures in the transfer window. Those teams did not invest, failed to capitalize on their young teams, and weren't able to recover. This is where Arsenal are trying to do things different. The owners have made available a near £200 million transfer budget to ensure that Arsenal are here to stay. Arsenal are on the market for a new attacking midfielder, and that's where you have ex-Arsenal targets Dominik Szoboszlai. At 22 years of age, Szoboszlai has gone from strength to strength. Last year in the Bundesliga, 6 goals and 8 assists, 14 big chances created, averaging 2.3 key passes per game. Fabrizio Romano confirms Dominik Szoboszlai has a release clause into his contract of €70 million. The feeling is the Hungarian talent is to leave RB Leipzig this summer. Before we signed Martin Odegaard, this guy was one of Mikel Arteta's main targets. Szoboszlai's got insane ball striking, a very lethal long shot. The versatility is also there, able to play out wide and as a number 8. Fabrizio Romano confirms important bids are expected for Szoboszlai as Premier League clubs are following him. But what about Fenerbahce's wonder kid Arda Güler, one of the most in-demand young players in all of Europe? Arsenal are following, and here's a surprise. According to Fabrizio Romano, Arda Güler will now be available for just €17.5 million, as he has a release clause that will be activated after playing 1,500 minutes. Many top clubs are trying to convince the player. This is where Arsenal might have an upper hand. They have shown in the past under Mikel Arteta, the likes of Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli, being the youngest team in the Premier League, they will give young players a platform to shine, and under the coaching of Mikel Arteta, the potential of Güler would be frightening. A left-footed, graceful playmaker, he has drawn comparisons from Mesut Ozil. Defence is also another area where Arsenal need to improve. In terms of XG conceded last season, Arsenal allowed 43.8, but look at Man City at the top, 36.2. These are the fine margins to win a Premier League title. This graphic sums it up. Out of all of the last 10 teams to win the Premier League title, the average goals conceded is 31.2, with Man City's title win in 13-14 being the most goals conceded at 37. To win a title, Arsenal need to concede less goals. Yes, we could sign more defenders, but Mikel Arteta has a slightly different idea. He wants to defend better via control, sustain pressure as much as possible, press teams into their own halves, improve the transition control. That is why the main area of focus has become central midfield. So let's talk Moses Caicedo. A source has told Chelsea journalist Simon Phillips that Arsenal have a bid ready for Caicedo, irrespective of the deal for Declan Rice. The source also adds that this is the strongest that Arsenal have been financially. The reason why Arsenal are putting their main funds towards midfield is because they see 2 profiles available that could set their midfield up for the next decade. As Charlie Huffington confirms, Moses Caicedo is currently with the Ecuador squad, relaxed and focused on international duties, as he knows that Brighton will keep their promise. Arsenal still haven't bid yet, but they will. It's just a matter of time. Chelsea are also planning a proposal, but Brighton are yet to receive offers. If you go back to January, Arsenal have made their initial offers. They have gauged the price tag. That is why their next offer needs to be on the money, especially when you're up against a team like Chelsea. They have shown in the past they won't waste time to close a deal. And you also can't forget about Man United. Even though their focus right now is Mason Mount, many reports have claimed that Erik ten Hag is also a massive fan of Caicedo. You've also got another midfield target. According to Jacob Steenberg, Arsenal have interest in Southampton's Romeo Lavia, with the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool also competing. Lavia's profile under Arteta could thrive. You go back to his performance against Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium, 36 touches, 17 passes completed, 1 accurate long ball, 2 successful dribbles, 5 ground balls won. Arsenal fans witnessed firsthand the calmness and composure on the ball. Even in terms of duel winning, Lavia wins 4.7 per game at a 60% success rate. Arsenal have shown in the past with the signing of Aaron Ramsdale, they are not scared to sign players that have been relegated. There's also been another development for Declan Rice. Arsenal of course were fighting off Bayern Munich with Thomas Tuchel trying to convince the player, but Florian Plettenberg September confirms Rice to Bayern is now a no transfer. They have decided not to submit an offer after all, because Rice became more and more expensive. He's now on the verge of joining Arsenal. Arsenal have been given yet another upper hand, with Fabrizio Romano confirming the feeling is very positive around the Declan Rice deal. This is because Arsenal realise they've got the player on their side. There may be other teams interested, but Arsenal is where he wants to go to. According to David Ornstein, talks around Rice are positive. The bid is to come soon. Arsenal want to make a proposal that will not waste anyone's time. It was meant to come after the Conference League final, it's still not here, so I understand there will be frustration. But the reality is that Arsenal have been negotiating for months, and the deal is at a very delicate stage. What Arsenal can't afford to do is take too much time. There are other teams that are waiting in the background. This is where they need to be decisive. We've also got an update on the future of Thomas Partey. According to Gary Jacobs, 2 Italian clubs have shown interest in Thomas Partey, and Arsenal could be keen to offload him if they get a deal from Moses Caicedo over the line. Thomas Partey on his day is a fantastic player, maybe even a game changer, but towards the end of last season, there was a clear drop-off in his game. As Jacobs reports, there has been disappointment at Arsenal. That Thomas Partey dominated matches for 2/3 of the past season, then regressed to his performance levels of the previous 2 campaigns. The Arsenal number 6 is arguably the most difficult position in the Arsenal team. It requires elite levels of physicality, and you have to always be switched on. Partey has a lot of talent, but when you take Saliba out of the Arsenal team, he wasn't as reliable in the build-up phase, and that is why at times you had Jorginho playing over Partey as a number 6. Moving on to Mikel Arteta's forward targets, Arsenal forward Nicolas Pepe has an uncertain future after his loan spell at Nice came to an end. Fabrizio Romano confirms Nicolas Pepe has returned to Arsenal. A left-footed right winger who Arsenal once paid £72 million for, there once was a player there, but his profile does not suit Mikel Arteta's football. Pepe is at his best on the counter-attack, where he's got space in behind, and according to Sam Dean, Arsenal are seeking buyers for Nicolas Pepe and have no plans to reintegrate the club record signing. Pepe only has 1 year remaining on his contract, and the Gunners are hoping that potential buyers will come forward in the next few weeks, earning £140,000 a week. For those sort of wages, there won't be many suitors in Europe, but according to Chris Wheatley, Nicolas Pepe is very open to a move to Saudi Arabia. From Cristiano Ronaldo to Karim Benzema and N'Golo Kante and Riyad Mahrez, the Saudi league is taking over. Those guys have an insane amount of finances. Now let's talk about Bayer Leverkusen's Moussa Diaby. According to Fabrizio Romano, there is a concrete possibility that they will continue to track and follow the situation of Moussa Diaby at Bayer Leverkusen, but it is not advanced or close at this moment. Diaby makes sense because of squad dynamics. If Arsenal are going to sign a wide forward on top of Bukayo Saka, they need to have an interchangeable profile. Diaby is left-footed but comfortable on both feet. He's got the explosive burst of pace, fantastic creativity numbers. To understand why this is so important, you have to look at Man City. You look at Riyad Mahrez on the right-hand side. If things aren't working out for him, Man City have Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden, both players of a similar mould that Pep Guardiola can interchange. In terms of centre forwards though, Napoli's Victor Osimhen is a man in demand. But according to reports in Italy, Arsenal are leading the race to sign Victor Osimhen. Despite interest from Man United, Victor Osimhen is a lethal finisher. 26 goals from an XG of only 21. Osimhen helped Napoli win their first league title since 1990, and the fact that he's only 24 years of age is still crazy. If Arsenal want their version of Erling Haaland, Victor Osimhen is one of the very few players in the world that could give Arsenal something similar. The president of Napoli has spoken, and he says, "I will not sell Victor Osimhen this summer, no way." If Arsenal want Osimhen, they will have to play the waiting game, but even in terms of price tags, it is hefty. Reportedly 130+ million euros. Is this a move for summer 2024 instead, or can Arsenal find a way to be creative? With Napoli reportedly holding interest in following Balogun, is there room to negotiate a swap deal? There's also a scenario developing in Paris, and we are talking the future of Kylian Mbappe. With a breaking news from Fabrizio Romano, Kylian Mbappe has informed PSG of his decision. He will not trigger the option to extend his current contract until 2025, and that means his deal will expire in June 2024. PSG's position is clear. They have no plans to lose Kylian for free. It's either sign a new deal now, or he could be sold. Mbappe loves being a centre of attention. For 3 years in a row now, he's been trying to instigate to move out of Paris Saint-Germain. Real Madrid is of course the prime destination, but after all the friction of years before, despite agreeing a deal with Real, he signed the new PSG contract. He was called a snake by Karim Benzema. And then you can't forget about the Premier League, the best in terms of entertainment, and where there's also Erling Haaland. A lot of people believe that Mbappe versus Haaland is the new Messi versus Ronaldo. The player himself has since spoken. Replying to an article about him wanting to join Real Madrid this summer, I've already said that I'm going to continue next season at PSG, where I'm very happy. But Fabrizio says PSG's position is clear: extend the contract or leave this summer. If PSG do end up forcing him out and it is to be a move to the Premier League, according to L'Equipe, he has remained in contact with some clubs in the Premier League who were interested in him back in 2017. One of those teams was Arsenal. As Arsene Wenger said back in September 2017, we were on the case last year and he was very close to joining us. For 10% of the players, they can go where they want and they can make a great career. For me, he is in the 10%. What would be Mbappe's Premier League options? In terms of Man City, can they sign him on top of Erling Haaland? You also have Newcastle's Saudi owners. According to the reliable Roman Molina, Mbappe is not interested in Man United. And then of course you have Arsenal. This does sound crazy, but there is some context. Mbappe's idol is Thierry Henry. Arsenal have a massive influence on French players, and our team is now at that stage where you can add superstars. But this is a crazy conversation, and in terms of wages and finances, would Arsenal be willing to change their ways, accept a personality that can be draining, break their wage structure, and make a move that no one expects? We've also got some breaking news on Kai Havertz. According to David Ornstein, Arsenal have made a proposal to sign Kai Havertz, but suit has ramped up in recent days. Contact with Chelsea and the 24-year-old. FC Bayern are also keen. With 2 years left on his contract, Chelsea ideally want to renew or sell. We spoke about this a few days ago. It was initially a surprise, but things are heating up now. And even according to Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal are in talks to sign Kai Havertz off the positive contacts on the player side, who is keen on the move. Chelsea want around £75 million, but Arsenal will not pay that amount. Talks with Real Madrid are currently off. Kai Havertz wants to play for Arsenal, and it's not really a surprise. Of course he wants to work with Mikel Arteta. He wants a new environment. According to Sammy Mokbel, Arsenal are willing to pay £60 million including add-ons for Kai Havertz. Chelsea are holding out for 70. Arsenal are willing to pay over £200,000 a week wages, and Arsenal will go for Havertz once the Rice deal is done. Those numbers show there that Arsenal are very serious in his pursuits. They really want to sign the player, despite many Arsenal fans being surprised. Fabrizio Romano says keep a close eye on Bayern Munich for Havertz. Arsenal know that Bayern can enter the race in the next few days. Alongside Real Madrid and Arsenal, you've also got Bayern Munich. There's got to be a player here. And in terms of Thomas Tuchel, in the past on Havertz he has said, I see a bit of Dennis Bergkamp, Robin van Persie, Dimitar Berbatov kind of player. He can play in the half position because he has good runs, but also feels free from the 9 and creates overloads to one side. Tuchel admires him, Bayern wants him, but as Fabrizio Romano says, Arsenal want to be very fast to sign Havertz to avoid Bayern coming in. But what exactly does Mikel Arteta see in him? Kai Havertz is a very versatile profile. He's not a centre forward but has the ability to be a false 9, with decent technique, able to link up play. At 6'3", he has got a big frame, but he's not really a physical striker. What stands out to me is his movement. Havertz is very instinctive. He's got a very good sense for movement in behind. That's why he gets into very promising positions, but his finishing numbers are weird. Last year in terms of XG underperformers, Havertz was in the top 3. But then you have this graphic here, the XG over the course of Havertz's entire career. As the line in blue shows, he's actually an overperformer. This is because of his Bayer Leverkusen days, where he would consistently put up good finishing numbers. That shows that when he's got the confidence, he can be a good finisher. And what surprised me the most was how much of his Bayer Leverkusen career was starting as a right winger. As you can see from Havertz's heat maps, where he was averaging around 17 goals a season. Now think about Bukayo Saka being a left-footed right winger, with Havertz also being left-footed and experience of playing out wide. It might be another reason why Arsenal are targeting his profile. Fabrizio Romano confirms that Havertz and Declan Rice are Arsenal's priority targets. They are going to go hard for Havertz. £60 million could be the price tag to make all parties happy. He's not my number one option. I would prefer a more natural striker to add something different on top of Gabriel Jesus. My concern though is fund allocation. Would this affect our pursuit for Moses Caicedo? Would we be helping Chelsea in their pursuit? Or is this more of a transfer that Arsenal can make happen on top of a Declan Rice and a Moses Caicedo? What do you guys make of the prospect of Arsenal signing Kai Havertz? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today. Starting off with the future of Arsenal youngster Ethan Nwaneri. According to The Athletic, Ethan Nwaneri's schoolboy registration ends this month, and there are serious doubts that he will sign a new deal at Arsenal. Chelsea are competing with Man City, in particular for his services, while Man United are also in the hunt. Arsenal want to keep them and they have tried their best. They even gave him a chance in the first team to showcase him a pathway into the first team. That gets to a point where if he still does not want to commit, regardless of the talent, is it worth keeping a youngster who's not fully committed to Arsenal Football Club? The Arsenal owners Stan and Josh Kroenke have also been celebrating, as their Denver Nuggets won their first ever NBA championship. And here was Stan Kroenke lifting the trophy. the Cronkies are slowly racking up quite a bit of success, and over the past 2 years, they have now won 4 different championships across 4 different teams. These guys have a plan, they keep sticking to it and it keeps on working. After winning the championship, Josh Kroenke says, "You saw the flashes along the way if you were paying attention. I thought we were this good for a few years now. We just needed to get healthy." The phrase of trust the process is one that is controversial, but for the Cronkies, it's paid off. Here you have Stan Kroenke after the game alongside Nuggets player Jamal Murray, who says, "We had to get you one. I appreciate you staying patient with me. You could have gone a different route. We got it done." They have never been seen as aggressive spenders, but they have their own approach. Patient progress. This is how they want to win a title with Arsenal. They have given Arteta the patience. They are now making massive funds available, but that will also bring its own level of pressure. Having won the titles at all the other teams, there will now be pressure on Mikel Arteta's shoulders and Arsenal to sign the right players, make the right moves, and try to win the Premier League title next season. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was the latest episode of the Transfers FC. Arsenal have forward targets, Kai Havertz is there, but let's now stay tuned to find out what more surprises do Arsenal have in store. I will see you next time, take care, and in a bit.